All right, so let's dive into Donatella Versace. We've got this Yahoo Entertainment retrospective on her career, and yeah, I'm really curious to kind of get your take on it. It focuses on these two iconic dresses: Jennifer Lopez's jungle dress and Britney Spears' butterfly dress. I think it really shows how those pieces, became huge in pop culture.
It's so interesting how some clothes, they become more than just clothes, right? They become these like cultural artifacts, I guess. And Donatella's work, I think it's really interesting, because it often really captures like what was going on in society at the time.
So, like you're saying, her designs, they weren't just about looking good; like they were reflecting something kind of deeper.
Yeah, there's like a deeper meaning a lot of the time. And this Yahoo piece, I think it brings that out really well. Let's look at the jungle dress. Okay, so imagine fashion in the late 90s. Like, picture those red carpets, right? Fashion was so bold back then, everyone wanted to make a statement. And then, boom, Jennifer Lopez shows up at the Grammys in that dress. That was like a turning point.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the pictures, the neckline, that bright green, the way it just fit her. It was pretty daring. And this retrospective, it goes beyond just like describing it, right? It says it like redefines celebrity style. What do they mean by that?
Well, think about it. Celebrity style, especially on the red carpet, it was way more like restrained back
Yeah, I
then,
know.
more formal, all elegant gowns and stuff. And that jungle dress, like threw that all out. It was just so sexy, so loud, almost wild, It was like, oh, wow, okay, celebrities can be daring like this now.
So Donatella, she wasn't afraid to kind of break the rules.
Oh, no, not at all. And I think that's what made it so impactful, not just how it looked, but it got people talking. Like, what's okay to wear on a red carpet?
It got people talking for sure. It wasn't just like a one-time thing, right?
Right.
Didn't it actually like start a whole trend?
Yeah. Totally. After JLo wore that dress, you saw so many similar styles popping up. Suddenly, plunging necklines, bold prints, even sheer fabrics, they were everywhere. On red carpets and just like everywhere, you could see Donatella's influence. It was a new standard of what was glamorous.
Okay, so that jungle dress, it was a real game changer, pushing those boundaries and kind of starting this new era of like bold style.
Yeah.
But what about that butterfly dress? That seems so different.
Yeah, the jungle dress was like all about that fierce confidence. The butterfly dress, though, that was different. Britney Spears wore it when she was moving away from being like a teen pop star, becoming more of a mature artist. And the dress itself, it's like it mirrored that, all delicate and kind of ethereal. Those butterfly motifs, they were so beautiful.
And they called it in the article an intersection of pop culture and high fashion. Can you explain that a bit more? What made it so important that way?
Well, think about Britney Spears back then, right? Biggest pop star in the world.
Yeah.
Everything she wore, it was huge, especially with young people. And there she was in this Versace dress. High fashion wasn't just for like the elite anymore. Pop culture embraced it and it became something everyone could like aspire to.
That's a good point. It wasn't just a pretty dress,
Yeah.
right? It was this moment. Donatella blending high fashion with like mainstream appeal.
And it shows how versatile she was, as a designer. She could make these powerful pieces like that jumble dress, but she could also do something softer, delicate, and still make it really impactful.
It seems like there's a connection here. Boldness with the jungle dress, that delicate beauty of the butterfly dress. Donatella just had this knack for making pieces that really resonated with what was happening culturally, don't you think?
Absolutely. She had a feel for what's that word? The zeitgeist,
Yeah.
the spirit of the times, turning that into fashion that was visually stunning and also like culturally significant. It's more than clothes. It's about capturing like a feeling.
They use that word zeitgeist in the Yahoo article too to describe her talent. What does that really mean for people who don't know?
Oh, zeitgeist. It's German. It means spirit of the times, basically. The ideas, the trends, what defines a particular time period. And in fashion, it means making designs that reflect that and even kind of shape it.
So she didn't just follow trends, she like set them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes her so interesting in the fashion world.
And speaking of her role in fashion, let's talk about how her career's like evolved.
Hmm.
This retrospective mentions that she's stepped down recently.
Hmm.
What does that even mean? What kind of impact do you think that'll have on Versace?
Now that's where it gets really interesting. Stepping down in this case means she's not doing the day-to-day design work at Versace anymore. What that means for the brand, though, that's a bit of a mystery. Some people see it as like natural, she can focus on the bigger picture, let new talent come in.
It's like passing the torch.
Yeah, exactly. It happens a lot in fashion, but it's always a big deal for a brand. Think about what happened to Chanel after Coco Chanel or Dior after Christian Dior.
Yeah, sometimes it works out great, sometimes not so much.
Exactly. And that's what makes Donatella stepping down so fascinating.
Hmm.
There are so many questions about the future of Versace. Will they keep that iconic status without her? Will they still be bold and innovative? Will they still capture that zeitgeist as well?
Whoa, that's a lot to think about. But before we get into all that, I think we need to take a closer look at what made her leadership so unique. What were the key things that defined her time at Versace?
Well, first, I think it was her commitment to the brands, like DNA. She took what her brother, Gianni Versace, started and really made it her own, but she stayed true to that core Versace style, the
Mhm.
boldness, the glamour, a little bit of that edge.
So she managed to evolve the brand, but keep those roots.
Yeah. She wasn't afraid to experiment, push things, but it always felt authentically Versace. And beyond that, I think her understanding of pop culture and how to connect with celebrities, that played a huge role in how successful Versace became.
You're right, those celebrity collaborations, they were legendary.
Yeah.
But what was it about the way she did it that made those collaborations so impactful? It wasn't just about, like, putting famous people in nice clothes.
Oh, no, it was way more than that. Donatella, she got that synergy thing. She knew that if she aligned the brand with these big celebrities, she could make both the Versace image and the celebrity's own brand even bigger. It was a win-win.
So it was like creating these mutually beneficial relationships.
Exactly. And she was really smart about who she chose to work with. Like, think about Jennifer Lopez in that jungle dress. It
Right.
wasn't just, okay, pretty woman in a pretty dress. It was connecting the Versace brand with Lopez's image, that confidence and sexiness and that fierce individuality she had.
It was like she was telling a story, creating a narrative through these collaborations.
Yes. And that narrative, it was always super carefully thought out to really enhance the Versace image.
So it wasn't just like celebrity endorsements.
Yeah.
It was creating these cultural moments, getting
Mhm.
people talking,
Yeah.
and shaping how people saw the brand.
Exactly. And that's what made Donatella such a brilliant businesswoman. She understood fashion isn't just about the clothes, it's about creating a world, an experience, an aspiration.
It seems like she really had this clear vision for the brand. And she wasn't afraid to take risks, to go against what people expected, like
Yeah.
pushing the limits of what was okay in the fashion world.
Absolutely. And that kind of fearlessness, it was contagious. It inspired other designers. It made women feel empowered. And in the end, it helped shape what fashion looks like today.
So Donatella's legacy is about more than just the clothes and the celebrity stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, way more. It's about the impact she had on the whole industry. She changed what it meant to be a woman leading in fashion, which was always a man's world. She showed that women could be bold, powerful, and super successful, but still embrace being feminine.
That's a really good point. She wasn't just a fashion icon, she was a role model for women in business, in creative fields.
Yeah, and that's part of what makes her stepping down so, significant. It's the end of an era, but it's also a new chapter starting, not just for Versace, but for the whole fashion world, I think.
So to kind of wrap up this part of our deep dive into Donatella's legacy, what do you think is her most important contribution to fashion?
Hmm. I think it's her ability to bring together high fashion and pop culture, but make it feel real and aspirational. She made fashion more accessible, more exciting, and it connected with so many more people. And she did it all with this amazing sense of style and that fearless, bold attitude.
What about you, dear listener? What really stands out to you about Donatella's journey? What did you learn, or what inspiration can you take from her story? Maybe it's her boldness, her creativity, how good she was at business, or something totally different. We'd love to know what you think.
Yeah, and while you're thinking about that, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the future of Versace. Now that Donatella's stepped down, where do you think the brand is headed?
Will they keep pushing boundaries and keep that iconic style they're known for? Or will they go in a completely new direction?
Yeah, it's really tough to say, but I'm sure they'll still be pushing boundaries, challenging what people expect, and they'll definitely hold on to that bold, glamorous style that Donatella brought to the brand.
But maybe they'll do it in a way that feels new,
Mm.
something
Right.
that connects with younger people. Maybe trying new technologies, materials, new ways to connect with their audience.
Yeah, or maybe they'll really focus on social responsibility and sustainability, creating a brand that's not just about looking good, but also being ethical and thinking about their impact on the world.
Those are some really cool ideas.
Yeah,
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But one thing's for sure, Donatella Versace, she's left a big mark on fashion.
totally. She's a true icon, a real visionary. She's helped shape the industry into what it is today.
And even though she's stepping down, I think her influence will still be around for a long time.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about her legacy. She's not just a designer, she's like this force of nature. She's inspired so many people with her creativity, her passion, and that belief in the power of fashion.
So as we finish up our deep dive into Donatella Versace, let's just take a second to appreciate everything she's done for the industry and for like culture in general.
Yeah, and let's look forward to seeing what the future holds for Versace, for fashion itself, and for all of us who love style, creativity, and expressing ourselves.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you got something out of it. And until next time, keep exploring the world, be curious, and keep an open mind.